Unit 7, Digestion and Nutrition by Phoebe Phillips. Anatomical structure of the human alimentary canal. It is consists of the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestines, the large intestines, and the anus. The mouth goes from here all the way down through the stomach, into the intestines, into the anus. This is where it turns into feces and goes into then through the rectum and then through the anus, and then the body gets rid of it due to waste product. Functions of each part of the canal. Digestion. This is both at the mouth and the pharynx. Both the mouth, tongue and teeth are also used to chew in the food to break down smaller particles. 3 pieces of salivary glands secrete saliva to mix into the food, called the chewing phase. Food is passed down the pharynx and the esophagus. An enzyme called ptyalin assists the breakdown of the starch that's found in saliva. Saliva consists of minerals, salt, and water. The pharynx as well is pushed down, causing the muscular wall to contract and push it into the esophagus. This is the esophagus diagram showing it is contracting and relaxing to push the food down. This is the chemical breakdown of the stomach and digestion. The pancreas regulates sugar digestion. The enzyme breaks down the food and the proteins, starch, fats and sugars. It acts as an exocrine and endocrine gland. Hormones called insulin and glycogen controls blood sugar levels. The pancreas tells the stomach when to empty. The liver contains substances of water, salt, pigment, and cholesterol called bile. This bile is stored in the gallbladder, and this helps with the acid of the fat digestion. So aids with the fat digestion, the stomach contains gastric acid that coats the food until it becomes chyme. This allows nutrition to be absorbed the body, which is broken down. Mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion is the physical breakdown of the food. So that's the actions of chewing, swallowing, churning of the food in the gastric acid. The organs involved are the mouth, the larynx, the esophagus and the stomach. It breaks it down, changing the food composition, increasing the surface area, allowing chemical digestion. Chemical digestion. The small intestines aids with the digestion of absorption of nutrients. This use of enzymes break down the food absorption by breaking them into smaller molecules. This happens throughout the body, not just small intestines. It's a crucial part of digestion chemical reactions that would be a lot slower without enzymes. This would not break down the food fast enough and cause health complications, as it would go through too quick. This would cause a lack of nutrients being absorbed and cause health complications, as just said. If it goes too fast and water is not absorbed, it can cause diarrhea. So the key enzymes are carbohydrates, which breaks down carbohydrates, proteins, which breaks down protein, and then lipase breaks down the lipids. This can be found in pancreas, small intestine, both carbohydrates and protease is found in the mouth, pancreas and small intestine. Absorption. This is the large intestine. It absorbs vitamins into the body and converts food over to particles into feces to excrete from the body. So leftover that can't be absorbed into nutrients is classed as waste product. Excretion, as said here, The waste products go through the rectum, which is sort of short-term storage of ingested food, and then it gets broken down the body, and then the anal cavity basically is the last stop of digestion, the digestive system, and it's emptied. This is the histology of the stomach. It contains 4 layers: mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa, and serosa. So this is the mucosa is a lining of the stomach, the inner lining of the stomach. It comes in contact with gastric fluid to secrete by the gastric glands to aid digestion. Gastric pits across the surface of the mucosa is responsible to produce gastric fluid to the stomach. Submucosa is connective tissue which joins mucosa to the muscle underneath, which is usually thick. The externa consists of 3 layers. These all contract in different directions to help the churning and the digestion of the food. And then the outside lining of the stomach. This acts as protection of the stomach while it's being moved around the body. Duodenum contains 3 layers again. It's the shortest and first area of the small intestine. Food passes through into the bloodstream. The duodenum is the initial point of core absorption for the rest of the body for partially digested food particles. The peculiar circulars that wrap around the duodenum increases the surface area for absorption. So most max absorption of nutrition can help. The Brunner glands secrete mucus called alkaline. This is vital for neutralising the stomach acids for digestion to work efficiently, because it needs to be the right pH for food to be digested. Ileum contains 4 layers yet again. Its absorption process for single sugars, amino acids, fatty acids, and glycerol. This joins the large intestines. The lines, serosa lines, outside the reduce the friction when the muscles are moved. This again, secretes mucus from the goblet cells, and it aids digestive enzymes, which helps with which is supported by the submucosa. The serosa also has a lymphatic draining vessel, which helps with the absorption and transportation of dietary fats. The liver filters the blood 24 hours a day. It transports into the intestine, contains fats, vitamins, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates broken down to sugar and then used for energy. The liver makes blood plasma proteins, cholesterol, vitamin D, and bile. Bile is a toxic waste that is produced, converted into a liquid. This is then transferred to the gallbladder, which then helps break down fats and neutralise some stomach acid, which is the alkaline. 7 requirements of the balanced diet. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates now was the function of providing cells to the transport of the cells and organs, allowing the body to move, so it gives energy. These provide energy to cells when they're broken down to glucose absorbed to the bloodstream, mixing with the oxygen, which that allows them to provide energy to the rest of the body. Carbohydrates into 4 sugars. There are 2 that easily absorbed: the monosaccharides and the disaccharides, and oligosaccharides and the polysaccharides. Longer acting carbohydrates. The longer carbohydrates take longer to break down, acting as blood sugar levelers, makes them feel fuller for longer, because it's because they're more they consist the blood sugar rates more consistent, so they regulate them, so you're less hungry. So these are found in like pasta, rice, bread, and then obviously like the quick sugar ones are the naturally occurring sugar levels, natural occurring sugars, and then like found in like fruit, vegetable, milk, and then fibre is a carbohydrate. This is passed down towards the stomach and beyond, because it's not broken down by the body. It's found in plant-based foods such as fruit and nut. Protein. These assist in the healing process of the body. It does the repairing tissues and muscles. It's used for energy when there's lack of calories. You can found in eggs, nuts, and seeds. Fats are categorised into 4 groups: monosaturated fats, polysaturated fats, saturated fats, trans fats. These help for energy storage, temperature regulation, glucose production, nerve function, omega-3, anti-inflammatory. They're like key components of the cell wall and intercellular membranes due to the fatty acid cells, so very important. Then fibre assists with promoting regular store functions, helps with the large intestine absorbing water into the body. Like I said earlier, if you don't have enough fibre, it won't absorb the water. So when you're eating food, it can cause diarrhea, and then you get soluble and insoluble. One that's dissolved in water and to become a gel, and it helps secrete, and lower cholesterol levels, allowing fuller for longer. And then insoluble is removed from the body, but it's good for like colon health and prevention of constipation. The vitamins, they are categorised 2 groups: fat soluble, water soluble. Fat soluble stay in the body for longer because they're in fat, so that's like vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E. Water soluble, they leave the body faster. There's like vitamin C, B1, B2, B12, B7. Absorption of these nutrients in the diet prevent deficiencies, which we'll go into later. And then minerals maintain fluid levels in and out of the cells. These convert food and substance and supporting growth, like calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc. It's found in like fish, red meat, pulses, dark chocolate, and nuts. And then water. Water's very important because basically the organs would not function without water. The body can't produce water, so that's why we have to drink a lot of water a day, so your body can digest food, and it allows cells to grow and maintain their health and blood pressure. Dietary imbalances. So it's gone on about just before. If you have not the right nutritions within a diet, or too much, it can cause some imbalances. So you've got malnutrition, starvation, obesity. Malnutrition is when there are not enough nutrients for the body to function. So you get acute and chronic. Acute when someone's high risk, and then chronic is like isn't full effect, so it's like a prolonged time without the nutrients. Starvation is lack of food being consumed, so it can be like loads of nutrients in it but not enough food. So the body is not getting enough carbohydrates and it starts using its own glucose, which starts breaking down like muscle to use for energy, which is obviously not good for you. And then it's like starvation. You can see it in like having anemia, which is lack of iron, dizziness, bloated stomach, shallow breaths, and eventually death if it's not sorted. And then obesity. Obesity is when it is too much saturated fats from the diet. So this is class of when a BMI is high, and it increases the risk of heart attack. Bad cholesterol builds up in the bloodstream and clogs up the arteries. Diseases caused by malnutrition, that's scurvy, rickets, depression, pellagra. Pellagra is vitamin B3, affects immune system, so dementia, inflammation, sores in the mouth, and then this can be found in peanuts, mushrooms, whole grains. Scurvy, as everyone probably has heard of, is the vitamin C, so it's like the bowing of the legs. So like tired all the time, pain in the joints, and then smokers are at risk because the smoke reduces the vitamin C being absorbed into the body. And then deficiencies of vitamin B7 can cause depression. This can lead to hair loss and rashes. Depression can also spiral and lead to acute malnutrition. So it can cause one to eat too much or too little, and then it can cause obesity. So that's quite a spiraling along. Like it's not just biotin that it's what it needs. It's not called just a biotin deficiency. It can go quite rapidly from there. These are normally found in peanuts and dairy products. But biotin helps regulate the bad cholesterol, blood sugar levels, and helps production of keratin. So, keratin. So it helps with like hair, nails, obviously blood sugar levels, and then you obviously need to reduce bad cholesterol, especially if you're eating fat. And then current diet recommendations that I found. So you got the classic NHS Eat Well plate. It's split into different sectors, like a pie chart that's on a plate, and it basically shows you how much you should be eating during the day, in a meal really. Saying that it should have 2,000 calories for women, 2,500 calories a day, which is food and drink, which I didn't know about, I just thought it was food. And then obviously 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, which obviously previous before, water is very important. Vegan based diet, this has become very popular recently. It's basically not eating animal products, that's and what they produce. So it's eating like vegetables, fruit, whole grains, nuts, seeds. It reduces saturated fats on the so it reduces the bad cholesterol in your heart. It's high nutrition, which is vitamin C, fibre, magnesium, iron, folate. So it's obviously with having saturated fats, low in calories, reduces the risk of diseases caused by obesity, and as well as type 2 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. BMI, I think it's current diet recommendation because it indicates on how they measure your height versus your weight, as your weight squared by your height, your weight divided by your height squared, because that basically shows you what your risk of like heart disease and death. The only bad thing is it does not counter in muscle mass, so a bodybuilder can weigh the same as someone that's not a bodybuilder and is the same weight of them, but muscle, they have a lot more muscle, which means they have a lot less fat, which means technically they won't be obese and they won't be technically unhealthy. It's just the fact that they don't counter in muscle weight, which can weigh more sometimes than fat. Chicken and rice diet. This is very popular within bodybuilders. With people exercising, it seems a cheap, quick way to get your nutritions and a weight loss diet with being healthy and still consuming those calories. So with the chicken and rice is quite bland in the way, the fact that it's quite repetitive. Apparently that's quite good for your psychological brain, so it allows you to, because if you're eating the same food, you'll trick your brain to eat less. It's a very good source of fast releasing energy as well as low calories, and then it's got great sort of energy and protein and B12, can reduce cravings. It is known as a short-term diet though, because it doesn't have the essential nutrients as like a varied diet. It doesn't include cells, lacks of vitamin C, A, D, K. So is known, especially with the vegan and rice diet, supplements are meant to be taken with them to so you're not lacking any. And then yeah, these are the reference I used is, and then